Hey man, thank you for watching this video. The reason for creating this video is to basically walk through you all the case studies that I've done, basically successful marketing or growth hacking case studies that I've done in the past throughout my role, progression over years. And if the time permits, I would want to go through a little bit further, like where you get to see me going through an actual account, the demo of how I actually achieve, those kind of level of ROAS, those level of success with those accounts that I've worked with. And also you'll get to see my thought process in terms of like how do I track and measure ad performance over time. And then also, if time permits, I will also go through how do I, what's my philosophy in terms of like the thought process when it comes to deciding, what client to work, more on, like which client should we be focusing on, especially when we're working with startups or clients. Doesn't matter what business line you're in, no matter if you're a marketer or if you're a founder, or even if you're a venture capital, there's always that framework that you're gonna look at to see if whether will you be able to drive measurable success to the client, to whoever you're serving, or it would be like, something that, yeah, you're gonna need to think about it more, thought process more, there might be some gaps that the client need to fulfill in order to get to where they want to get, right? And I will also show some, how do I build those reports and what are the infrastructure that I use, that I use to build those reports. So without further ado, let's go. So you can see here, so one of my best performing accounts is basically a company that is basically an online travel agency. And so it was literally 10x ROAS. That means I was given a total 250,000 ad span, and basically I managed to basically optimize the whole campaign, the whole account till it hit 2.5 million sales, and this is lifetime value. And you can see here that it doesn't happen overnight, right? It doesn't like, you know, this took a few months before I can hit what I call a break-even point, and then from here, the ROAS gets increasing over time, and the conversion value now becomes more than what the actual cost is. You can see the cost line here goes down. I managed to reduce the cost, the CPA over time, while increasing the conversion value and the ROAS over time. And basically, I was reporting to the CEO. And then again, this is basically is literally still one of my best uh, case studies I've had in my early days of being a growth hacker. And so, and it even went to a degree where I got featured in Growth Hackers back in 2016 or 2017, because I published this case study. And this was the reason, how a lot of other clients all over the world globally wanted to know, like, how did that happen and how can they achieve this level of success as well for their business. I even also get a Google Honest Implementation Award. You can see here. So not only I'm AdWords certified, but I also attain a Google Honest Award because of that case study as well, which is, which Google appreciated what we did basically. So um, when we got the time, I'll walk through a little bit of, the account itself, and I'll share what I did briefly. But for more information, feel free to reach out to me in order to learn more. If you are interested to like really dig more my thought process, I'm happy to do that. So this is what I did to the Facebook ads, basically to the same client. And so managed to, so from a $37,000 ad spend, managed to get to optimize it to 4x ROAS for 157K worth of sales, right? So again, um, well, the way I approach Facebook ads is really different than Google ads. They're definitely, it's not like a one size fits all kind of strategy, because again, there's different strength from different ad platforms, right? Again, if the time permits, I'll see if I can walk through further what will be the strategies are. And then here's another one. Here's a client based in Sweden, um, and basically they're in the creators industry. And basically, what I did was I managed to. They have a CPA issues, right? They were getting basically in-app purchase because they have an app on iOS. That's why you see their search ads here. So I did search ads as well. But the problem with the client was like I keep getting really expensive, not only expensive installs, but also expensive cost per purchase, which is $20, per any installs that they get. So my goal in 60 days was to increase the ROAS and decrease the CPA, and that's what I did. I managed to decrease the cost per acquisition. That means that I'm referring to cost per purchase, the in-app purchase, to $8. They were selling it. They were selling an in-app subscription. I believe it was $29 or $39 or something. So just imagine the level of savings that they're getting, and they're able to capture more money, more return because of the massive reduction of CPA. And that's how they're getting a ROAS of 2.52 in 60 days, right? So you can see and I did that with Instagram ads and search ads in particular. So because the creators because their target market are mostly influencers and the Gen Zs, which is why back then, the two channels that that we were focusing on was Instagram ads, and because it's also in iOS, search ads was the best bet for us. Promotely is more of affiliate kind of network basically that we work with, in order to bring us the installs and subscriptions. All right, moving on. And this is Alter, another company based in Sweden as well, and similar issues. Has some problem. Needed to hit 20,000 installs during the first initial MVP launch, on basically on iOS store, and their problem was they keep getting $2 to $2.2 per install, which is too much for them to handle, because they basically their seed they are seed funding startup, and the investor is basically the ones that invested in Candy Crush before. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of King or Index Ventures. And so these guys, Alter is part of that portfolio. However, because it is still in seed stage, they're not even Series A, so there's not much budget to to play around with. And so that's why my job was to ensure that we can at least hit 20,000 installs in the most in the cheapest way possible. And so that's what I did. What I did here is, you can see, now this data is a much more updated data. That's why you see a much more higher CPI here. And just a second, something is blocking there. Let me just fix this real quick. There we go. So you can see here, this is the CPA trend. This is the original one, $2.32 on Instagram ads, and $3.92 in Facebook ads. Just imagine $2 and $4, which is super expensive. And so what I did was I told them like, hey, look, you're gonna jump, let's dump Facebook ads for the time being, and let's improve our placement to Instagram ads. And so that's what I did. And then you can see here, after the major optimization and revamp of all the campaign, ad group and ad structure, I managed to boil it down to 0.17 cents only, and managed to maintain that for a few months, in order to hit 20,000 installs. Again, I was reporting to the CEO back then. Okay. Now this is basically a company, a swimming pool construction company, where I managed to generate almost a 500K worth of project leads, basically. And this is not confirmed revenue. This is more of a leads, inquiring leads. And I basically was only spending less than 5K in order to reach here. Um, the reason why that it was a potential launch, I wouldn't say ROAS here. I would say like return on leads, basically, because we are basing it on leads, and the client is the one who's closing the deal. So we don't control that part. So I only control part from the acquisition right to the lead generation from Google Ads. And so you can see here the basket size of each project is huge. That is why even 30 leads spent from a $5,000 could generate a 500K worth of money, because of the each lead net worth is super huge, right? And same thing, I was reporting to the CEO as well for this case, all right? And so this is SEO stuff. I'm gonna cover this basically just a very little, very briefly. Basically, this is mostly because we were doing a lot of this, what I call the dynamic pages. We were creating a lot of um, travel routes pages, travel destination pages, and we were doing it dynamically based on every location. Just imagine, give you an example. Just like if you go to this just like those Kayak or TripAdvisor, or even Booking.com, or even Trivago, you would see all the way down or down the page, you will see there's a footer section that contains all the different type of cities. And every time you click on those cities, there's those hotel pages specific for that particular city. So that's what we did. So that was one of the major things that we did, which where we ended up deploying, I can't really recall the exact number. I think it was around 600 to 700 different pages, um, where that got indexed and crawled, and we were ensuring that we're covering all possible to and from destinations in order to ensure that we are ranking on those pages. We want to make sure that we are covering any potential any potential location gap that might not be covered by the other competitors in the market. And so that's one of the huge thing that we did. Other than that, we did a lot of PR, and this PR, I always ensure that all PR collaborations must have a backlink, especially it has to be a do follow link, especially when the PR is giving us sites that are having really high domain authority, ideally more than 40, 40, always the best case is 70 to 90, but then that's definitely a really hard one to do. So normally I would, always see if we have the backlink opportunity with domains with authority of 40 plus and above. Um, we find that really, really effective. So it's not just a simple backlink strategy of like going all out, because not all backlinks give you that authority, sometimes it doesn't, so very important that you decide and analyze what are the links that you want to attain, because the high quality ones would definitely bring you closer and faster towards getting you the organic traffic that you want and increase your placement in Google search. And this is another, um, basically another company based in the UK. They're doing travel, luxury travel memberships with, and they do concierge as well, where if you want to go somewhere, anywhere globally, they'll help you. You know, they'll be your like a chauffeur kind of thing, where they'll ask you where you want to go, which flight you want to go with, and most of the guys that they entertain, the clients that deal with them are mostly VIPs and really high net worth individuals that don't have time to do that, and so the average basket size, like per transaction, is quite huge, like 10,000, 10,000 euros or 10,000 pounds per person. So yeah, it's pretty huge. And what I managed to do was to work with the CEO, and the developers, basically to do some tweaks on do some technical SEO improvements that will increase the DA from 0 to 30 in 3 months. And again, back to where I was telling earlier, backlinks strategy, using PR, and one other things I want to also cover is partnerships or affiliates also help. Like, so that's the strategy, to for us to actually increase the backlinks, relevant backlinks, because it has to be relevant as well. So, not only we're getting PRs, the PR coverage from those high domain authority sites, but we're also getting relevant um, affiliates or influencers, or even publishers, that talk about us, um, and wanting to contribute to that backlink. Those are the things that we do in terms of the strategy. And I maintain with that and some couple other technical SEO jargons that I can't I don't have. If we have the luxury of time, we can do that in another video. Basically how I improve and implement a coding level SEO techniques in order to basically make the DA or authority score becomes like quicker. And also, let's see, partnerships. Again, this is on the travel. Basically managed to grow strategic partnerships from 20K to 176K in 8 months. And again, this is basically this is literally, if you go to analytics, this is Google Analytics. If you go to Google Analytics, you will see this under referral. So this is what I call the referral part of the traffic, right? Where the referral came a lot from our affiliates and our travel agents that we employed, in order to help us bring that revenue. And this is where I do a lot of hand holding with major affiliate networks, in order to get to where we want. Let's see if I have it here. Affiliate networks I work with includes, yeah, so the affiliate networks I used to work with includes these guys. And basically, working closely with these guys allow me access to the pool of affiliates where I can literally assess, who are the people I can work with, who are the people that can really bring sales to the company. And I would use different tools, like I would use tools like SimilarWeb or SEMrush or Href, in order to decide if the affiliates are even worthy to begin with. Can they bring sales to the company? Even there is even a degree where I would also see if they have actually did sales for the other competitors. And if they do, I would then try to pitch them with a better commission deal in order to acquire them for the company, right? So app downloads, managed to grow installs from 60K to 120K in 8 months. And this is basically this is a rewards or redemption app, where we were launching this on both Android and iOS. And so let's see here. I just want to cover, I want to skip this part here, and I want to go directly to what are the what are the things that I want to share in terms of like what do I do in these campaigns um, in these ad accounts, right? In order to hit the success that we are doing, right? So for example, here I'll be showing you walk through you the stuff like how this account, okay, one of my best account I've worked with. So going on, so I'm gonna show you, right? So one of the things that I do in order to it has to be a combination of a little bit of would say tactical on Google Ads itself, the way you bid, and also it is also a combination of what are the business insights that you have that that can help you optimize, right? For example, here you can see, right, one of the best converting one is basically this brand here, which says top five, right? Top five. So top five here, what I did here was I literally what I did was because we were also dealing with we're not only dealing with hotels and buses and we're dealing with everything, right? So I would try to scout for their revenue, their all-time sales, right? I would talk to the to the team, to the revenue team for each brand, right? That's what I would do, and I would try to ask like, what are the, and this again, this requires some report. They're not gonna reveal those numbers to you easily, um, but because I've worked with this account for 4 years, so basically I've literally had certain connection and rapport built with the brands, right? So what I would do is I would ask like how what's the sales typically look like for you and stuff like that, and from there I would build a spreadsheet and I would look for what I call the product price, the average basket size for that, because that average basket size is going to decide one other thing for me, which is the CPA, right? You have the basket size here, you have the CPA over here. Now, my calculation, my ratio is very simple. The CPA must always be 1/3 of of the whatever, um, you know, um, you know, revenue or profit that you're gonna attain, right? Or else it's gonna be loss for you. So how do you actually increase CPA safely? And the answer lies at define and find a way that you can promote a larger basket size item or value. And that's what I did. I choose top five brands that has the highest AOV, average order value. And then from there, I focus on doubling down on them more, which is going to allow me to have more leeway, more space to play around with the CPA, right? So, so I can, so that means if the AOV is $100 and then I manage to increase it to $300 because of knowing what they sell, then I can increase the CPA as well without burning everything. Like, it's still going to be capped at that 1/3 ratio, right? That's how I managed to get this 4.3. So that's one of it, okay? This is one of them, right? There's plenty more. And I'm going to share just one more, the beat strategy. So the beat strategy here, you can see I'm using target impression share. And I love this bidding method because it allows me to really control who gets to be at the first position. If you use other automated ones, right, you might be tempted with all these recommendations saying maybe your Google Ads manager, your Google account manager say like, hey, do this, do whatever the AI is recommending. I would say take that with a grain of salt. Like don't follow it 100%, right? I love manual, like things that are manual. One of two big strategies that I love the most is target impression share. Secondly is the enhanced CPC, which is a really manual way, right? So these two really helps me to get the client to the first position. And the principle is very simple. I did this with multiple clients and I noticed the same. As long as you are ranking in first position on keywords with high purchase intent. And again, how do I decide what are the keywords with high purchase intent? I do competitive analysis. I use SEMrush for this. I would see where are the keywords that the competitors are already bidding, and the more they're bidding on that, the more I know there's a high purchase intent with the keywords, or else they won't be spending there, right? So the keywords that I know, I would double down on that, on putting them on the first position, and then I let the nature does the rest. I let the funnel does the rest. If the funnel is good, and if the product is good, and this is where I use what I call a 4 fit framework. If you can see in my site, I have these frameworks that I live by. What This is what I call a product market fit framework, where I would look at market, product, model, and channel fit in order to decide if a client can, if we can really achieve ROAS with this client that we're working with. This is how I define where I should prioritize more on versus where I should put my least priority on. I use this 4 fit framework. Okay. So these are some, there are many, many more that I wanted to touch, but then it's already 26 minutes past, and I really appreciate if you've managed to reach this far. I really appreciate it. There's plenty more that came from, and I would love to share more of how I do it. Um, just ping me and reach me by email or my LinkedIn. And lastly, I just want to show like how do I do reporting, right? So here, so normally I would do something like this on the back end side. Like I would do things like this, like the ads API. I would do a little bit, and again, because of my coding background, this is why these things are very easy for me, because I'm a developer as well before I became a growth hacker. And so integrating things and building dashboards is a really piece of cake on my side. And so what I would do, I would leverage that in order to build dashboard using Looker. So the sample would look like this. Unfortunately, I'm no longer part of the organization. That's why I couldn't see any data here. So the charts will be appearing here, where I can just choose which client and then which account I want to go, and then which date I want to apply, right? And what I would do is I would use Ad API and then plug it into tools like Supermetrics, and then I would add Href and SEMrush in there, and then compile it in Google Sheets, push it to BigQuery, and then only then it ends up in Looker Studio, which is the tool that I'm using for building the final dashboards after acquiring the data sets. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Um, I want to go through this a little bit, but I don't have time. But this is a sample of the leads that I acquire from Google Ads to the, yeah, sorry, I had to push this a little bit so that you're not seeing um, the leads. And so, yeah, so basically these are the leads that I've acquired, from the Google Ads spend for a pool construction company. And so, yeah, so again, there's a lot of things I want to share, but then time doesn't allow us. If you're interested to learn more, let me know. Just ping me and request me, and I'll see what I can do. And yeah, I can keep going. There's a lot more things to share here. If you're willing to collaborate and and see how we can work together, I'll love. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to, let's make it happen. All right. Cheers.